don't know. Nope. So we're just going to talk loud. Thank you very much for the good news. And next would be our student representative report.
All right, we don't have a mic either, so we're gonna have to
Just talk loud.
yeah,
Does that one work?
Project.
oh, thank you.
I don't think it's working.
it's working. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, but you know what? It might be working at home like they did last.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a
you're
fair
right,
point.
you're right.
So, yeah.
All right, starting off strong with something those folks already said. The MVMS students participated in the Tissue Drive, a sort of competitive event in which students are encouraged to donate tissue boxes to the schools and their classes, with the grade that donates the most winning a popcorn and movie afternoon. The total number of tissue boxes donated was 288, and the grade that won the event was the 6th grade. 7th came in 2nd place, and the 8th grade came in 3rd. The middle school musical production of Susical Jr. went fantastic. If you went to see, it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of it was a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks before break. It was fantastic. I saw some faces in that group that came by and presented in that musical. From 3 nights, and each night did better than the last. A big round of applause to both the middle school and high school band and chorus for their holiday concert, which did phenomenal and showed just how much work we all put into making the music program stand out. Yeah, it went great. If you went to see those as well, Nick and I were both in those. I think it did good. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but
Toot, toot.
Congratulations to the new National Junior Honor Society at the middle school who were officially inducted and sent on their first assignments, which were to partake in the wreath laying and cleaning event at the New Hampshire State Veterans Cemetery. And as a final send-off before I hand this microphone off to Nick, the MVMS yearbooks are on sale right now for $25. You can buy a yearbook online or through a paper order, which you can get outside the main office at the middle school.
Thank you, Silas. Alrighty, an annual event that everyone seems to love that we do in partnership with Bishop Brady is, of course, the Payson Cancer Center fundraising basketball event. Last year was held at Bishop Brady. This year it is held here at Merrimack Valley High School. It's an every other year schedule. So on Tuesday, January 27th, boys basketball will play at 5 p.m. and then girls varsity basketball at 6:30 p.m. The fundraiser will also feature a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, and concessions. Just a great event. It's been going on for a few years now, and I mean, we do a great job with it. Bishop Brady does a lot, so it's always great to see the amount of money we raise for the Payson Cancer Center, a great cause. High schoolers are counting down the days to midterms, which take place in 2 weeks, the week of MLK Day. Seniors are starting to hear back from colleges and getting ready to embark on their final semester of high school, counting down the days to June 6th, graduation. Really looking forward to that one. The National Honor Society had a great time serenading students before break. We do our annual Christmas serenades. We'll also do them for Valentine's Day, and that's pretty much when students can buy a musical and dancing performance for another student. We have staff members buy for other staff members. We go around to all the classes and serenade people with Christmas songs. It's always fun to watch them get embarrassed.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
I was there for a couple of them.
Also, when we get the teachers, we did the main office every time, like every period of the day. Mrs. Anthony was loving it. Oh, Miss Lambert too. She was loving it as well.
That's what she was just talking about, actually, how much she was loving it.
Yeah, it was amazing. One of our other honor societies, the Triam Music Honor Society, took a trip to the Merrimack County Nursing Home to perform Christmas carols, and all the residents loved it. The MVHS Theater Department is proud to announce the spring musical Hadestown, which is a Tony and Grammy-winning musical that reimagines the ancient Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, intertwining it with the story of Hades and Persephone, which is set in a mythical industrial underworld. The show, developed from a community theater project into a Broadway hit, features a folk/jazz score and explores themes of love, faith, and industry with a narrative that follows the young lover's journey to the underworld and back. It is a very touching musical, very deep. It's also just amazing. I believe it went out in 2018, 2019, but it won a ton of Tonys, including Best Musical when it came out. I will be playing Hermes, which is one of the leads. I'm the narrator, the storyteller. And then Silas is playing one of our workers, which is in the ensemble. So it's going to be a very, very good show. That's going to be the end of March. So I'll make sure that when we come in for March, I'll tell you all the details about that. If you make your way into the auditorium, you'll see an entire stage extension. We moved the stage out to the first row, so no one can sit in the first row seats, but it's a ginormous stage extension. It's really, really cool. The set's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to this for my senior show. Enough about that now. It's time for our jokes. What did the trees say after a long, cold winter? What a relief.
What do you call a snapshot from the North Pole? A Polaroid.
Oh, God.
That's all we got for you guys.
Thank you. Thanks, that's great. Any questions for either of the boys? Okay, next committee reports. First one is Finance. Finance met on December 1st, 8th, and 15th, and Tom will report. The minutes are in the packet. The minutes are in the meeting, no, in the packet, but Tom will report.
So this is where we're reporting where we finished on the 15th, right?
Sure.
Okay. Are we going to project the slides?
Yeah, you can do it now, or in that spot, we can just skip over that spot in new business. We have draft warrant, that should say
Oh,
2026.
doing it in there?
But you can do it as part of your report, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, yeah, I prefer to do it. I'm sorry.
You wanna- You can stay seated there, probably, I think, because of that people.
Okay.
here talking.
All right, thank you for that. So I think just going over this, Randy, would be probably the best way to go over where we've been the last three meetings. But before I talk about the numbers, I just want to say that our committee was Tracy Bricky, Laura Vincent, Julia Jones, and Melissa Muzzy were all part of the committee. I thought we worked well as a team, and we did a lot of work together, and it was very helpful. Sam, I pestered Sam a lot with a lot of emails, a lot of questions, and after every single finance committee, we had 11 of them, Sam and I always had a virtual meeting and talked about the next agenda and some questions. Certainly Catherine and Randy were there for support and gave us all their institutional knowledge and help with it, and they were very instrumental. We had Laura, Melissa, and Stacy all went to one of those town meetings that we had. I'm sorry, Lorna also, and Laura, Melissa, and Stacy all attended those meetings. And also, Jessica, I think, came to every single one of our finance meetings and also came to the 4 town meetings we had as our at-large. She was very instrumental and very helpful, and she answered questions that I could not answer. So very appreciative of everybody that participated and was very helpful. If I left anybody out, I apologize. It was not my intent. Okay, if you go to the next one, Sam. So here's the kind of the overview. So we're looking at almost a $52 million budget. We have about $3.7 million in revenue, and when we're looking at taxation, we're just a little bit north of $48 million. So right now, that is 3.38% greater than last year's adjusted budget, and the increase is $1,697,000. So if you just take a look at that bottom little sentence there or statement, that's $210,000 less than what was reduced last year. Okay. Any questions as we go through? And you're going to have this. You don't need to take pictures. You're going to have it. You got a new smartphone, is all I say. So, any questions on that first slide?
So the revenue, because that's separate from taxation, so what kind of things make up the revenue?
Sure. Sam, you want to take that?
I'll lunch sales to, any interest that we earn if we get, Medicaid distributions, federal distributions, anything that's local and state.
Any outside tuition right now?
Yeah, we do have some tuition in there as well.
I think we got one.
From Andover and the Learning Center.
I think we went 170,000, I think, with the
For the
Learning Center, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, next slide. So here are the major increases. So the chart on the left, or the pie chart on the left, breaks it down into percentages and gives you that visual. But I'm gonna look, and I apologize, something happened in the transition. I'm gonna make this bigger and better, that little square. But health and dental, that went up $1.1 million from last year. So that's 14.2% increase. And just so that everybody knows, people are 78% of the budget. So that, when your health and dental go up quite a bit, it's gonna affect the overall budget. Food service went up $475,000. It's been budgeted at $750,000. District's really paying about 1.2. So we wanted to match what we expected to spend to feed the kids with how much match how much we spend with the kids with what we budget. So we increased that by $475,000. Facilities last year, we reduced it by $100,000. We restored 80% of that, or $80,000. So there was a restoration of summer school work, curricular resources, and curriculum work, and that totaled $222,000. If you remember last year, the union said, with the reductions, we'll not take some of our CBA contracted, and that's all back in, and that's $322,000. So technology was reduced last year, and this is gonna be increased this year. This is gonna cover security cameras, emergency alarms, Chromebooks, licenses, and computers, and that's gonna go up $159,000, or proposed. Is the SAU budget, so think of the building just next to us. We pay 87% of those costs, so that's up $50,000. Utilities, so that includes water, propane, wood chips, electricity, oil. That has been under budgeted over the past several years. So those were all, or not all of them were increased, but most of them were increased, so the total amount for utilities now goes to $66,000. And I just want to make a quick comment about food service and utilities and looking at next year. So that is, so about $500,000 is about 1% increase. So if you take those two things, let's say we didn't have to increase them this year, the budget would be more of a 2.5 increase versus the 3.38. But the good news is next year, they're not gonna be asking for $475,000 more dollars in food service or $66,000 in utilities, because they should be pretty close. They might need to ask for a little bit more, but not those numbers. And then retirement and social security, so that goes up $145,000. So those are the major drivers. I'm sure there's some other little things in there, but those are the big ones. Yep.
So we talked about raising the cost of the lunch and the breakfast, so does that affect the food service?
Well, we spoke about our revenues, and no, it doesn't affect the operating budget, but hopefully next year that the prices will increase and you'll have more revenues next year.
Can you remind me what what is categorized as the summer programs, or the restoration for summer programs and curricular resources? Like what that is?
Yeah, can I defer that to you, Catherine?
I can do it.
Oh,
if you want. So last spring, summer school and the elementary school and middle school were both cut. Those funds, those were put back in. And then other curriculum resources that we use for professional development were also put back in. So I think that was about $43,000 was that
you.
So it's all curriculum based.
Other questions on the big drivers? Okay, next slide. So some of the decreases, as you can see, we have separation pay, so that's just based on what is expected right now. They have the people, I think, I don't know what the deadline is, but as far as not coming back. Tuition to the middle school decreased by 14%, and the numbers aren't showing on that. That's going to be fixed. I apologize for that. And that went down 167,000. That's based on expected, the projected enrollments. Phones are down. That's really, I probably didn't need to put that one in. That's only $10,000, which is barely a percent. Contract transportation down 50,000. Vehicle replacement down 50,000. Those are based on projections. And then federal grants are down $710,000. Do you want to talk about the federal grants and what that?
So.
Sam, can you get a microphone? They can't hear you.
Sure. So federal grants are not an expense. They are a revenue. We get the money. So it really doesn't belong in the operating budget. This is based on the advice of both the DRA and our auditors, that there's been an arbitrary $710,000 put into our budget, and so we're removing it for clarity purposes.
And Sam, that would be IDEA, Title I, Title II, Title IV.
Yeah, and any of the federal grants. Yeah.
Which is not popping up on that little screen up there. Any other questions on decreases? So we have 4 financial warrants. Collective bargaining I wasn't involved in, but I put it up anyway because it is money that needs to be go to the voters. So the operating budget, we talked about that. Collective bargaining in the first year is $766,000. So we have 2 trusts in there, expendable trusts, and those are to be, in the past, I think the district has tried to fund those through unspent money at the end of the year. And what we decided to do as a group is just put it out as a warrant article and let the people decide. So special education is $500,000, and that number is very specific. If you remember last year, $500,000 was taken out of it as far as the deficit. And we thought we would put that money back in. We have spoken about a 5 to 6 year plan after this, which would be to get that to about $2 million over the next 5 to 6 years through warrants like this. The maintenance expendable trust, we had a lot of conversation about that, and the group was really good at helping me realize that these really 2 things are very different. To me, the special ed is such a wild card. It's very hard to predict what can happen and how financially devastating that has been for school districts in the past. But maintenance expendable trusts, we know a little bit more, and that's a little more moving forward. So we're looking at possibly putting some money in, but also taking some money out because there's some roofs that need to be done. Probably looking at the high school, if I remember right, and breaking it up into sections. We're looking at, right now, maybe about $1 million. So right now, there is, as we sit here right now, special education has nothing in that expendable trust. Maintenance has about $800,000 in that expendable trust. So each and every one of these will be voted on by the community to accept or not. Any questions?
Yep.
Yes, Al?
So I have 2 questions. One is, how is it decided that special education the expendable trust was going to become a warrant article? I'll start with that one.
Sure. I talked about it in the summer. We talked about the fact that anything that we have as far as unspent funds is going to go towards the deficit, which is at about 900. So if we didn't have a warrant for it, I don't see any way that we would build that expendable trust back up. So that's, and I'll let other people on the group speak their thoughts, but that was really, for me, that's why I felt that was important.
Okay.
That was why we
Yeah.
Okay.
made
all right.
that decision.
So my second question is, aren't we, like, if the warrant does not pass, aren't we still legally obligated to fund special education? And so isn't this a little bit disingenuous because we're going to have to pay for it anyway?
Well, special education is, sorry, Tom,
No, you can answer it. You can answer it.
special education, sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks. Special education is in the budget. I mean, so what we know for special education for next year is already in the budget.
Okay.
So it's not like there's nothing in the budget for special ed. The expendable trust is in case we have something astronomical comes out and something we didn't plan on. That's what the trust is for.
But wouldn't we still have to pay for it?
We would
can
still have
always-
to pay for it.
One way or the other?
Yeah,
Okay.
we would.
Okay. Okay.
I think we need to stress that is what this is for, just, sorry to take over.
No,
once
no,
again.
no.
We need to stress that that's what this is for, is a rainy day fund in case if we have unexpected expenditures in special ed again, so that.
Yeah, so Sally, if there was nothing in it and, let's say that didn't pass, or even, tomorrow, something extraordinary happens, they're gonna have to pull it from other lines, or they could actually have a special meeting to raise the money, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Thank you for clarifying.
Yep, absolutely. Anything on those? And part of the maintenance too is, would we like those numbers to be larger? Yeah, but we also want them to pass. So there's a little bit of strategy in here that I think these are doable. But I also like the fact that we put it out there and we're gonna let the people decide on those expendable trusts. Oh, boy, that's tiny. I don't know what happened with this, but this is, if you go on, I would really like you to see this page. So if anybody in the audience, or you, here at the table, if you go on the district site, it may be the same thing. I don't know why this got all condensed, but I'll go through the numbers, though. So Sam did estimates on what this would be per thousand for the various parts of this. Yeah, Sam, if you go to the live one,
He's gonna bring up the website now.
yeah, or if you go to the live one I shared with you, Sam, it would probably be best. I'm not sure that's gonna do it.
School board.
Let's see. Yeah, because it's a PDF, it's the same. Sam,
Go to
can-
our tax one, it has the same information. Go to
I was
school
looking at
board.
something earlier today, and I was able to see it quite well on the computer.
So what I'm gonna do, Sam, is I'm gonna reshare this with you, and if you could repost it tomorrow so that those things aren't cut off. So, the numbers are, so just the operating budget themselves, so, if only that passed in Bosquen, that'd be 89 cents on the thousand. So Loudon 65, Pennacook's got the bulk of it here, they get a $1.89. Salisbury 43 cents, and Webster, actually yours goes down 2 cents. So the CBA, Bosquen CBA is the teacher contract, would be 31 cents, Loudon, Bosquen 31 cents, Loudon 30, Pennacook 49, Salisbury 21, and Webster 19. On the special ed expendable trust, so that's for that $500,000, Bosquen would be 21, Loudon 20, Pennacook 32, Salisbury 14, and Webster 11. And on the $200,000 maintenance one, Bosquen would be 8 cents, Loudon would be 8 cents, Pennacook 13, Salisbury 6, and Webster 5. So the totals, if all of these passed, and these are estimates, Bosquen would be $1.49 per thousand, Loudon $1.23, Pennacook $2.83, Salisbury 84 cents, and Webster 33 cents. Again, these are estimates. Questions on any of those? All right, last slide, Sam.
Sorry,
Oh,
technical
no,
difficulties on my
sorry,
own,
yeah,
I
you
have to
gotta-
see.
Sorry.
The hardware needs a little extra help.
All right, so just a little bit of extra information here. There were 19 positions reduced from the FY '26 reductions, and 2 of them have been restored. So 17 have not, 2 have, and they are a middle school and a high school library assistant. There are no new positions, and there are no unfilled positions in this budget. So every position that's in this budget, the district's gonna try to hire somebody. Can't promise you all the positions will get hired, but they're gonna do their best to get people in them. Special education is consistent from FY '26 as a result of anticipated costs. So as I said earlier, and can I say special education is not a big increase? It's pretty fortunate, and I don't know what magic Julie did, but that is atypical of school districts right now, so good job there. So we had 11 finance committee meetings. I think we discussed everything. There's nothing that we didn't discuss. We didn't always agree. And I would even say if everybody could do this budget individually, we probably have 5 different budgets. But I think we came to consensus and we agreed. And it was a really good group to work with. And I feel good about this budget because I feel like this is appropriate for what the district needs for 26, 27. Sure, yeah.
Tom, I know you answered this question to me personally, but would you mind
can
just,
you-
for the benefit of the people in the audience and other members of the board, could you just give a little bit of how you were received in your town-by-town visits explaining this budget?
Yeah, it went well. Certainly, the first budget one I did in Salisbury, I learned what I didn't know about the budget, which was good. And everyone, I think, I got a little bit better and a little more knowledgeable. Consequently, my Q&As with Sam. But I thought they went well. The select boards and the Pennacook Village Authority were the association, sorry, we're very pleased and happy that we reached out, and the community members, and some of them are here tonight, participated, and they gave us a lot of good feedback, and I think people appreciated it.
Excellent, good.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
And I don't have to be the only one to answer questions. There was other people.
Yeah.
Jess, do you want to tackle that one too?
Yeah, I can. I think it was very well received. It was nice to have kind of open communications and questions for folks. I think getting information out there is best. And sometimes it's better to do it in a more, I won't say informal, because obviously we were at select meetings and things like that, but more intimate than an annual meeting, giving folks time to digest this before we have our March meeting.
Stacy had a question.
For Tom or anyone on the finance committee, do you want to just touch briefly on the adequacy funding and it just explain that we went with 95%, but there is potential that we would get up to 100?
Yeah. I think.
Tom?
Oh, sorry. I think Sam can explain it better than I.
Sure, so basically the recommendation from the state of New Hampshire is you budget for 95% of your adequacy money as a revenue, and so that's what we went with. That's really the bottom line. We went with the state's recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could get as much as
Yeah.
100% of it, but that hasn't been typically what's happened over, as I talk to everybody and tell everybody else to use it, that hasn't been typically what has happened. I think it's averaged, 97%? I think, so.
So there is potential.
There's potential for a little bit more.
Okay.
And for those at home watching, adequacy is revenues that the state gives us through a pretty convoluted formula. So every town has a different amount. is there any other questions, or I think this is the time for you, oh yeah, Lorna?
It's not a question, I just appreciate the hard work you guys put in a lot of meetings for this, and I think it goes, not necessarily, you know, you don't get a lot of thanks for doing it, but I think you guys put in a lot of work.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody back there. So here's the part that I would say that, you know, how the Merrimack Valley School District works is that we are built on committees, you know, subcommittees from the board, and those subcommittees come back to the overall board, and this is the chance for even people that were on the committee to ask questions or say, hey, did you think about this, or whatever. You have that opportunity to do that.
Can I ask a procedural question? When would be a time to ask about amending something in the budget or the budget in general? Is that now or is that?
You could certainly bring it up and talk about it now, but there won't be any official vote at this meeting. This meeting will be recessed, and it will be, the second part will be after the public hearing, which is when the actual vote, but I think you may as well throw it out there. This is a time to, you know, get something out. It wouldn't necessarily be an amendment, but you can get your thoughts out there.
And then, so I wouldn't make the motion until after the public?
Right, yeah, we're not going to make any motion about this. We're just going to put this in front of the people for the public hearing. We'll get information out, we'll get everything posted, we'll have more things up on the website. And then after the public hearing, that's when the board reconvenes, and that's when they vote to move a budget forward for the warrant.
Okay. I do have a spiel I would like to present to you guys. It's something I am going to ask to be put into the budget. I want to start the conversation in support of restoring middle school B level sports to our district budget. I've spent time speaking with the athletic departments in town programs, and this board previously approved to cut B sports when we were in a huge deficit last year. The total reduction was $18,630 for salaries, officials, and supplies, plus $5,000 for transportation, totaling $23,630. A direct result of those cuts, 64 students immediately lost the opportunity to participate in athletics within our district. Additionally, 36 students were cut after B athletes were selected, which demonstrates a clear demand for this program. Not all towns were able to accommodate these athletes into their rec programs after the cuts were made. And the towns that were able to accommodate, some families were not able to afford the fees and or accommodate the commutes entailed with rec soccer. Based on this data, the elimination of B sports resulted in approximately 100 athletes being turned away from athletic participation during tryouts. These are students who showed up, committed, and wanted to represent our school district. We told them the district had no place for them. Multiple long-term studies of middle school athletics consistently show that students who participate in school sports demonstrate higher test scores, improved grades, stronger cognitive performance, reduced absenteeism, and increased overall engagement in school. These outcomes directly support the academic mission of our district. B sports are not a luxury. They are an access point, particularly for students who are developing skills, confidence, discipline, and connection to our district. For a relatively small, in comparison, budgetary investment, we are choosing whether or not to provide opportunity, belonging, proven academic benefit to dozens of students each year, and we risk future deficits in numbers to our high school teams, which some sports are already struggling in numbers, meaning there's no cuts being made, and JV skilled athletes are being placed up to varsity ahead of their ability and their readiness. Restoring B sports is fiscally responsible and aligned with our responsibility to serve all of our students, not only the most elite athletes. And I strongly encourage you guys to reinstate B sports into the budget and join me in that hope.
Amanda, would you mind just repeating what the figures were, please?
So when the cuts were made, it was $18,630, and that included the salaries the officials needed for these sports and the supplies, and then $5,000 for transportation. totaling $23,630.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess Randy and Sam, can I ask a question? So when we have our public hearing, anybody from the audience can come up and make an amendment to it. Would a board member do that in the meeting, or would a board member do that after when we go to vote, or does it matter?
I don't think that the order that it happens there matters. It's because it's really about feedback.
Yeah.
You know, if that's, you know, if there's 100 people, you know, there that are all saying that, then the board might say, well, you know, we should look at that $23,000.
Yeah.
And then it's still going to be the board decision as far as what goes on the warrant. There's another opportunity, right, at the annual meeting that folks can say, we think this should be added to the budget, you know, as well. So as far as procedurally, I can look into that and get further clarification, but I'm not sure that there'd be any, you know, difference to how it's brought up, whether it's brought up, you know, from the public or, you know, amending it
Yeah,
after.
and the reason I asked, because if she, say she wanted to do that, so I'll just round it to 25.
25, yep.
And she said she wanted to do that, if she did it during the actual meeting with all of the, you know, the town people there, the voters, they would vote. But if we,
They don't vote at the public hearing. They're just giving
that's right,
input.
they're just giving it, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
so,
you're
so
right.
it's the
apologize.
board's
Yeah.
decision about what they put forward on the warrant, and then that gets voted on at the annual meeting. So
Thank
the public hearing is really just getting feedback from folks.
Question, real quick. You know, having gone through the budget process last year when we had to make these really difficult choices, I was quite upset that we had to cut sports in that manner, but I was hoping, and I want to make that known just because this is, you know, I don't think that the board at the time was, was against sports in any matter. It's just we had a hand that had to be dealt with that we were given. And so I suppose I'm definitely amenable to this idea, but I would like to know which line items it would be put into exactly. So if you can not right now, but maybe in the February when we reconvene, if you could just tell us which numbers it would be in and what the increase would look like, and I mean, what it would look like for the percentages, if that would be great. Thank you.
For Amanda, are you also thinking of, because of access to these sports, late bus needs to be brought back as well? Because I know that cut a lot of access.
So I did have a lot of late bus discussions wrapped into this as well. While I do think there is a need for it, and for the further towns out, right? Like it is, and myself included, I have to travel a significant amount to come and pick my kids up. So, you know, in comparison to like lunch increases, the gas money is a lot more, you know, and between high school and different times with the middle school, and and our coaches aren't having practices end right at 4:30 anymore. So like I have one kid getting out at 4:15, one getting out at 5, which makes it even harder for us. With that, so while I personally would love to have late bus back, after all the discussions I had today, and today especially, I don't think there's a significant need to justify reinstating late bus. I can pull those figures up. I was able to get the figures today of what that has potentially cost the district. But I'm personally more passionate about getting these B sports reinstated than late bus.
Anything else for Tom or the Finance Committee? Okay, then. Next is the Policy Committee. Melissa will not report because she's not here, but Catherine will.
Sure. So you have quite a few policies in your packet.
Yes.
Let's see. Policies EBBCA, that's the use and location of the automated external defibrillators. EBB, the accident reports. GBEBB, employee-student relations. are all in your packets for a second read today. You had them at the last, you had them at the last meeting. We have not heard any feedback from anyone in regards to those, so
Can we vote on those as a slate?
I think that would be great.
Can I have a motion to vote on those three? So.
And
the
can I
mo-
just add that E EBBCA will replace GBBGA when we adopt those.
Okay, so the motion is to accept E EBBCA, GBEBB, BEBB, and,
Before we,
GBGBA. Are those the three? Did I get that right? E EBBCA, GBGBA, and,
GBGBA is going to be sunset.
oh, okay, sorry.
May I make the motion just because I can?
can I
You
have
can-
a question about one before we vote?
Sure.
IKF.
Well, you know what? Hold on a second. IKF wasn't part of it.
Okay.
IKF will be a first read.
It's a first read, so we'll get to that one after. These are just for the second read today. And Tom, do you mind if Jess makes it? Because she has them all written down, and
I
you can
do.
second it, okay?
good.
Tom will
So-
second.
I make the motion that we accept EBBCA and sunset, oh gosh, I didn't write that one down.
GBGBA.
GBGBA. That's all the acronyms.
Is that it?
I think so.
Yes, that is it. So that motion was made by Jessica Wheeler Russell, seconded by Tom. Are there any questions on those? We got them last board meeting. Nobody gave any feedback to Melissa or to Catherine, so it looks like we're all good with them. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next.
All right, so we have some that are in here for a first read. I'm gonna go to IKF last. So we have policy IC, which was updated to align with legislation and school board association recommendations, and its revisions will allow us to sunset ICA, which was specific to the school calendar. So that's a first read for your review. Policy IKFG is new, and it is required. It aligns with Ed 306 rules requiring all grade levels to address career pathways in age-appropriate ways. So that is a new one that's in here for a first read. And finally, the other one that's in here for a first read, and this one is more significant, and Mr. St. Ange is here to speak to this as well if we have questions, is IKF, which includes updates around the credit requirements that reflect the high school's proposals to align with the updated Ed 306 rules. And so that, you have all three of those in your packet. And IKF is the one with the grid on it. So Amanda, I think you had a question specific to IKF.
So on the second page, where it says under RSA 18911,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need to find it.
Passage of civics exams, third paragraph.
Gotcha.
I would like to see it stated in the policy, if possible, that all state reporting is de-identified. I'd like to see it in the policy specifically that state reporting is de-identified, and like absolute minimal data is shared.
So,
So,
go ahead.
the civic exam is a law. We have to administer it, and we have to administer it through the TIDE portal in the state reporting system. So we don't have a flexibility in what we're sharing in
That
that
portal, though,
situation.
is it all de-identified data? Just, is it possible to word it
Identified by
that
their
that is de-identified data being shared within that portal? I understand that it's a law and it has to be reported. Is it possible to include in here to guarantee that it is de-identified data, even though it's the state portal?
It's not a portal that we're in charge of, so I would be reluctant to put responsibility for that on the school district.
And
It's, go ahead.
so I was just going to say, students get reported by their SACID number. It doesn't have, it doesn't, it's just, they're just a number. It doesn't and the
That's
number,
de-identified, right? So
Right.
can we just state that, or?
We're not in charge, this is governing, excuse me, I'm so sorry, I interrupted, but this is governing us, we can't govern the state. So like what you're saying could change for all we know when the state makes up their own mind.
Sure, and then we could change the policy. But I just think it's like an assurance that this is,
I just don't know that it's an assurance that we have the ability to
To
grant.
actually
'Cause
grant.
we don't control, like, we just aren't in control of that portal. So should the state experience a data breach, that's not something that we have control over.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it is our responsibility to do our due diligence to make sure we are sharing de-identified data, right? So like, we're not putting, it is a lot, I understand that, but what you're putting into that portal, and we can make sure that that portal is the de-identified data, like, we can take that due diligence.
I don't,
So I know you're saying like they can change their policy, like they are at risk for a data breach, but what we're putting into that portal per state mandate, why can't we say that it's de-identified? Why can't we say that?
I guess I would be reluctant to make a statement about a system in which I don't have control over.
But you have control over putting the data into the system.
Into our, yes, so it pulls directly from our student information system and the information that we provide in there.
So the information that you provide that it's pulled from is de-identified?
I'm not entirely sure what
So-
you mean when you say de-identified. Like, what specifically?
Like, you're not sharing like student specifics. They have like their student number, but you're not giving like any more information that is than what is required by law.
Yes, that's
Right.
all that's in the student information system.
We have a policy, not a policy, what's the governance, like the cybersecurity governance document that we usually approve in late summer, early fall?
The data governance
That's it. That's exactly it.
policy, or
That is
manual, data
kind
governance
of-
manual in June.
Yeah, and it governs PII, right?
It talks about like all the ways the district protects.
Yeah, so like that is the document I think you're kind of looking for. That's the one that kind of states what we can and cannot share and the guidance that's provided. This policy isn't real, like maybe a reference
That
could be done that we
yeah.
can talk about in policy at the next meeting.
I like
To
that
be like
idea.
asterisk, SIG data governance policy
Yeah.
or something like that. I think we can.
It's a
discuss
manual,
that.
not a policy, but yeah.
Manual, yes.
Can I speak to it?
Yeah.
So I appreciate your concern, but I would remind you that the New Hampshire Department of Education needs to follow those same laws. So they cannot release PII on anybody either. So they're bound to the same constraints that Merrimack Valley School District is too.
Right. I don't see the harm in stating that we are doing our due diligence to abide by that as well. But I like the idea of referencing our policy we already have. Like, if we could intertwine that into the policy, I do like that idea.
Well, it could be cross-referenced.
Exactly, yeah.
Like down where we do a lot of these things. I think we can just discuss it in policy at the next one.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yep.
thank you.
Not that I'm chair, but.
That's great. So, Tom, you have a question?
So I got a few questions, and I don't want to hog, so if somebody wants to jump in. So there's a few things here. So this minimum standards changed, and there's some courses or credits now that are issued that don't require seat time. So is economics going to be a standalone course?
So I'm going to have Mr. St. Ange come up and take the mic, and
Yeah, if you see in the chart, the credits associated with our current requirements from the current graduation requirements for classes of 26, 27, 28, 29 are consistent. If they're the same, then it's the same. So currently, economics is standalone half-credit course. It would remain the same, as you can see in there.
Okay.
So.
Why did, I see there's an added elective. Did that have anything to do with the minimum standards, or was that just something that?
Yeah, given that the required credits to meet the minimum standards no longer require seat time,
Yeah.
in the event that a student could earn additional credits with seat time, we wanted to maintain our current opportunities for our elective credits. And so this this gives students still the same ability. If you look at the minimum standards, one of the reductions in terms of general electives from the state Ed 306 rules was to reduce the elective credits, and we didn't feel like it was necessary to, minimize those options and reduce our elective options for students. So it really maintains our current practice.
Yeah, so you're not expecting less of your students as far as
Correct.
taking, okay, good. And just a question on the logic and rhetoric. Well, I guess English and math, and logic and rhetoric is broken down into those four components of problem solving, critical thinking, communication, and cause and effect. So it looks like it's going to be embedded in the English, and I also see that stats and data are also going to be embedded in the math. So is that going to be curriculum changes that are going to need to happen, or are you feeling?
We're not
good right
anticipating any major curriculum changes. When there's an adjustment to the competencies, many of those things fall in line with our current English 9 and 10 courses. And so the full credit of English will include a half credit of logic and rhetoric and writing. So
and consequently, the extra credit for electives.
Correct. And one of the components in terms of when our departments met, we were very cognizant that we didn't want to incorporate any need to increase any staffing or any of those levels. So we were able to identify those within those courses. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Sean. Anybody
other
else have any questions for Sean? Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for policy? So these were all first read. So if you get home and you have nothing to do and you're looking to fall asleep and you read these and then you come up with something, send Melissa and Catherine an email.
And our next policy meeting is next Monday, the 12th at 6 o'clock at the SAU.
Thank you.
Tracy, you should make an audiobook reading through all these policies.
Yeah, that would be very, very stimulating. Maybe we can get you to make the audiobook, Nick. Okay, next, curriculum met.
All right. So there's a fair amount of dovetailing between what we were just talking about and what we heard at the curriculum committee, where Principal St. Ange visited us to talk to us about the revised and updated MVHS program of studies so that they are aligned with the updated Ed 306 rules. So we got a review of the current program of studies and the current credit requirements, and then we took a look at the changes and had an opportunity to learn more about them, ask questions, and so on and so forth. That's pretty much it.
Me too. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Sally? Perfect. Okay, then. So next, we don't have any old business, so we will go on to new business. Personnel update.
In your packet, I'm sure you saw that third grade teacher at Loudon, Lynn Bouchard, who had submitted for her retirement by the November 1st date, has now decided that she would like to remain at Merrimack Valley. So she is rescinding her retirement notice,
Okay.
which is good, very good.
I don't know if it's good for Lynn, but it's good for us. Next is the draft warrant for, and it should say the 2026 annual meeting. We pretty much covered what those warrants would be in finance. Did anybody have any questions on how that looked?
The warrant or just in general
Just,
for budget?
not necessarily just budget. I mean, there's,
Yes, I do, and I've lost my place. So sorry. I think folks might not be surprised to hear me when I say that I would really like to see, and this doesn't have to happen now, this will be when we reconvene. I would really like to see the article for collective bargaining, either with an asterisk explaining what is included in on this or breaking out the numbers. If you recall, in this, we're kind of changing, rearranging best practices to kind of be more clear about what is included in a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement. And so this is not just salaries, this is also other items.
The benefits.
Retirement and payroll tax. So, don't have to have a discussion about it now, but I'd like to hear people's opinions in February when we reconvene the meeting.
Anybody else have anything about the warrant?
Can I just ask Jess, I'm sorry, what do you want to see in it specifically?
So I would like to see it broken out, personally. What I'd like to see is that the salary line is not, because like at first glance, folks will see that number, I think, and, you know, it's all salaries and stuff like that, but it's not. So I would like to see salaries is, I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head for the first year, but 600 blah, 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 or whatever it was.
Sam?
So the DRE portal, which basically helps write this, doesn't break it out. It has the, so for the warrant itself, it needs to just be the total number.
Okay.
Down below, it does say salaries and benefits, even though it doesn't break that out. So
Yeah.
I think when you present that, I think you may need to break out the numbers, and we can do that pretty easily. But the warrant itself is just the total appropriation.
Okay, so it's kind of set in stone then, just due to the DRA. Okay, that makes sense. I appreciate the correction. Thank you.
And there's going to be, and I apologize, Tracy, for jumping in. There's going to be a tile for the CBA.
Yes.
So maybe you could have a tile in there that it's, you know, some information in there.
Okay, next is, any other questions on the warrant? Sorry, Stacy, go ahead.
That's fine. I just have a quick question in relation to Article 2. Can you remind me when the dates are for interested parties to initiate that they want to run for a school board seat to file? Yes, thank you.
Yep, so as I'm looking down the dates right now, the filing period begins January 21st, and it ends January 30th at 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
So if you're filing on the last day, you have to file in person.
And that also would include any petition to warrant articles, correct, by the 30th? Or is that?
Last day to
the
receive petition warrant articles is February 3rd by
February
5
3rd?
p.m.
Okay.
You guys open at 5? You should close at 4.
We'll be there.
Okay.
Any other questions? That was a good one, Stace, thank you. The next, under new business is the 2026-27 school calendar. Catherine?
Sure, so you have the proposed calendar in your packet. So this was created with the assumption that the teacher contract is going to pass because it accounts for an additional professional development day. So faculty and admin have provided feedback on calendar options, and that's what has brought forward this version that you have in front of you. A couple of things I want to draw your attention to. The 8th is election.
September 8th.
September 8th, yes, is an election day, and the town of Boscawen has requested to use the school for that election. What we have done in the past is had Boscawen be remote on that day to allow the school to be used for the election. The school parking situation cannot accommodate both school to be in session. I mean, that's just one factor, but it can accommodate the school to be in session and for the election to be happening. Other things I wanted to draw your attention to, it's critical that we align closely with Concord School District because of CRTC, and there's legislation requiring it. There are only 2 differences between our calendar and Concord's calendar. That is our January 29th PD day and our March 5th PD day. Are there any questions about the calendar? Tom?
Yeah, so I see 93 and 84, that's 177, that's CBA related.
Yes.
And if there's a snow day, is it made up, or do you look at hours?
We make up snow days.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions about the calendar? Okey doke. And we need to change the date of the February board meeting. Oh, sorry, we need to vote on the calendar. Yes, there's a big X right there that says that.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposed 26-27 school calendar.
So the motion was made by Jessica, seconded by David, to accept the 26-27 school calendar. Any other questions before we vote? All those in favor of the 26-27 calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next is that we need to change the date for the February board meeting.
So the February board meeting was scheduled for the 2nd, I believe, or maybe, yeah. And because of we'll be reconvening after the public hearing, we just want to move that February board meeting till the following week. So the 4th will be the public hearing, and then this meeting reconvened. And then we'll have the following Monday, we'll have the board meeting.
And I do need a motion for that.
So moved.
Motion was made by Sally to change the February board meeting from February 2nd to February 9th. Made by Sally, seconded by Stacy. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Just for the record, I won't be able to attend.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
And Tracy, just quick clarification, what was the date on the 4th? Is that the public hearing?
4th is public hearing,
With the snow day.
with a snow date, the 5th.
There you go.
Thank you.
Is that auditorium?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes, it will be in the auditorium.
We'll be very careful.
Oh, no, it's fine.
No, we're
You're not
gonna,
gonna miss it. Hey, that you guys get a preview at
I'm very
the stage
excited.
extension. You know.
we're gonna wreck the stage extension.
We jumped on it today. It ain't going anywhere.
Excellent. Next, education freedom account cost structure.
So I'll give a little breakdown and then let Sam take over. But previously, with the education freedom accounts, the vouchers, we were able to just not accept EFA. So there wasn't a need, EFA students. It's a different category than homeschool. All right, so homeschool kid, if they want to take classes, they live in our district, they're homeschool, they want to come and take chemistry at the high school, they can take chemistry at the high school, and we get a prorated amount of adequacy for that student. EFAs, we did not get any sort of prorated adequacy. So they did change the law and make it so that you have to accept EFA students, but you can set a fee for those classes. So it's a different category than homeschool. This kind of balances out by being able to set the fee that sort of balances out that loss of adequacy. So what we did, and I think you can probably see it on that chart, is we looked at the cost per student and divided by 7, because the middle school and high school, we have 7 periods. If you wanted to take one class, that's what it would break down to. And then we just went with that same formula for the elementary school. And then we looked at the co-curricular activities. I'll let Sam go over how he, got, some of those numbers that you see on there. But we felt this is a reasonable breakdown as far as charging for EFA students.
Thanks. So the co-curricular really, there are 6 different levels in the contract with a different percentage of the base. So when I looked at them, it was easier to split them up as elementary, middle, and high school. So based on the number of times that they meet and how many students typically participate, that's sort of how I came up with with a structure for the $50, $100, $150. I included a few things that students may want to participate in, just as examples. And then for athletics, it's pretty straightforward. I took salaries, transportation, and officials, added up all of that and divided it by the total number of expected athletes that we would have. And so if you notice bass fishing, I think the coach gets $500, and there were 7 of them, so $71.
Hey, we're a good team.
You are a good team.
And so obviously you can see the varying amounts for each sport in both high school and middle school.
So just to go over that, this is the amount that if a student is not attending our school and they are getting EFA money, and they decided they wanted to come and participate in cross-country, they would be charged, at the high school, they would be charged $314, and they could still participate. Whereas before, we could just say, no, sorry, you can't participate. We have to accept all those students.
And right now, this chart is just for tonight, for us to kind of look at the formulas and what we did. We would look at setting the rates in June for the following school year for each of these things. But we want the procedure approved for this evening.
Stace?
Just a question for Sam. Have you talked to any other business administrators? Like, is this kind of maybe similar to what other schools might be doing as well?
Yes,
Okay.
it's in line with what others, different formulas, different reasoning, but most of the ones that I've spoken with are looking at some form of charging for EFA students.
I have a couple questions. I think you already touched on the one that I was going to ask first, which this is just for January 1st for this school year, or is this just a conceptual, come June, we'll approve this formula and then we'll see it once a year?
It's more the second one. So we want to approve the procedure and moving forward with the process. And then in June, right, but these are the prices for really, they correspond to this year's salaries and expected
When
numbers.
did the law go into effect for acceptance? Is it June 30th of this year, or is it? Okay.
Yeah, we could have been charging them right now.
Okay. Then the other question I have is more of a, not necessarily formula related, but, having experienced elementary club, levels and stuff like that, there's not a lot of spaces. Do MV students get priority? Like students who are in the school building over EFA students? So for example, I've had children who were unable to be in a club because there was not enough slots. So, okay, just checking.
Yeah, it's really, my kid experienced the same thing. So, it really
Lego
is a
club.
matter of first come, first serve. For some of the clubs,
Great. Okay.
it happens.
Okay. I think that's the only few questions I had.
Tom?
Just dawned on me as I was listening, because first of all, I think this is wonderful. Do we know if a student is a EFA student?
I'll tell you how we found out, Tom. When we were running our reports, it would get kicked back, because when we would think somebody would tell us that they're homeschooled, and then, but when we run the report, we'd get an error message, and then we'd have a difference in, all of the things that go into that sort of red flag, and we had to fix it. And basically, that's because they were accepting EFA fees. We ask now, as part of any time we have somebody that's coming in that would like to take that, and it's going to be part of our athletic questionnaires and all of that, so that we are sure that if they're taking EFAs, that we can work that out properly.
Did you catch it, what do they call it now, NH index or whatever it is? Is that how you caught it?
Yeah, it was when, and Katie would be the person to answer it, but when she runs the report, thinking everything's good, because the state was paying a prorated amount for adequacy, so if someone was taking, a class at the high school, we were gonna get, a couple of pennies, towards, our revenue, and it came in and said, no, this person you won't be getting any for, and we're like, what's the problem? And it happened to be an EFA issue.
Yeah, okay, neat, thank you.
So I do need a motion to accept this level of pricing for now and the process to happen again in June.
Oh, so this would start,
This starts now, these prices for this year, and then the process applied the same way to next year's prices in June. So I do need that motion. Lorna? Tom?
yeah, I'll make a motion.
Lorna? Thank you. So all those in favor of the cost sheet for the classes and the co-curricular, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okey doke. Sorry, I lost my agenda. There it is. Manifests and journal entries. So I'm assuming that I signed, Melissa signed. I need a motion to accept the manifests and journal entries.
So moved.
Seconded by David, so moved by Jess. Seconded by David to accept the manifests and journal entries. Any questions before we vote? All those in favor of the manifests and journal entries, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, all opposed? Thank you. Board chairperson's report, I do not have a report. Thank you. Next would be assistant superintendent's report.
All right, I'm going to pass around our submissions for the I Voted sticker contest. Now, unfortunately, none of our students were selected, but they did share with us the student submissions from each of the schools that participated, so they're pretty cute.
Thank you.
Those around. Randy and I have started our new teacher visits, and we are hoping to complete those this month. During these visits, we meet with all the new teachers, teachers that are new to Andover and Merrimack Valley. We deliver them a hot beverage, and we seek their feedback on their transition to the district and inquire as to how we can further support them. We are finding that we have less applicants entering the field of education every year. And so the limited number of teachers looking for jobs, with that in mind, it is critical that we ensure that our work environment is positive, supportive, and encouraging. And one of the things we get to hear about when we do these visits is our mentor program, which is led by Pam Hill. The feedback on that is really always very positive. Pam is exceptional at what she does, and I think is really integral to the success of our teaching staff. Both Merrimack Valley and Andover districts are undergoing ESEA grant monitoring, so this is a bit of a lift, time-consuming,
Sorry.
laborious process, but it's one that lets us reflect and improve on our procedures and our practices. So that is happening this week. And we are rapidly approaching the halfway point in the school year, so schools will soon be monitoring student progress with the administration of the NEWA assessment. And as you may recall, our district goal is that 80% of students in grades 3 to 10 who take the test will meet or exceed their projected proficiency level. And I look forward to reporting to you those results at the conclusion of the testing window. And that is my report.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. I'm going to keep mine short and sweet with the, you can't see it because we have the shades down, but the snow is still coming down outside. So I want to just play off of something that Catherine said about our new teacher visits. And one of the things when we are talking with new teachers who are new to the district but have come from other places, and we ask them about both the mentor program and how they feel, if they feel welcomed, and we hear phrases like warm and welcoming and, wow, they didn't have this at my last district. And we hear those over and over again where we're meeting with veteran teachers who are new to the Valley. And I think that says a lot about how we welcome staff in and both the new teacher orientation and the monthly visits that they have, but as well as the communities that are formed within each of our buildings. So I take a lot of pride in hearing that that's how people feel when they're going through. And I appreciate Nick giving us the countdown to his birthday, June 6th, earlier on. I know that for the seniors as they're looking forward to midterms. That's kind of the next thing for them to look on their agenda. So thanks for that, and that's all I got.
Thank you. Next would be public comment.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for that's worked on the budget because I know it's not an easy job and you've all done a good job. Tonight, late this afternoon, I sent every school board member a email and with this picture. This picture is of the Merrimack Valley Learning Center alternative. When it was ever originally given to the school board, way back when, I have no idea. But my question in my email was this presented to you when you made your decision back in November. I'm going to be open and honest. I'm here representing the taxpayers. The taxpayers of the Merrimack Valley School District are not happy with the Washington Street School decision. We don't know exactly. We have an estimate of what it's going to cost, how many years, but we don't know each year how much we're expected to pay, what we're really expected. It's like a hit and miss, vague situation, and it's not a good one. And again, we the taxpayers are not happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise.
I know it's close to the budget hearing, but with the change of the February meeting, is that an opportunity to hit Webster with the same information that all the other towns got, just to get it to a few more people?
Tom can answer that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so been in communication with Dave Hemingway, and he attended the one in Pennacook, and we spoke about it there too. And he talked about wanting to do it a little bit differently but having like Randy there, I believe, and Sam, and he said he was going to contact them. So that's where we left it with Dave and I. But I'm happy to reach out to him and see where he is, and have that communication with you. Yeah, or I'd even do it. I'd just do it with you if you'd like to do that too.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Normally, we don't have a back and forth with public comment, but that was important.
Compliments on the budget. When we have the annual meeting, how stridently will the school board argue for this budget to be passed? And I'm saying, please be strident.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. Any other public comment? Marcia?
Thank you. Tracy, you said there would be a change with the live streaming due to that parental right legislation? And live streaming wouldn't be started until after we had the presentation by whatever school it was going to be?
Yes, that's what I said.
So tonight, that would have been, the live stream wouldn't be started till after the good news, which means that the public, if you're listening or if you're watching from home, they would have missed the finance report and the public comment. So could we change the agenda around so that the presentation by the schools would come after the minutes, and then the live stream could start at the finance report and the public comments on the agenda, and therefore?
Thank you, Marcia.
Okay.
Any other public comment? So we do need to go into non-public session under RSA 91A. So A, B, and C, excuse me. Brian, don't leave, please. A, B, C, colon, 3, I. I need a motion to go into non-public. David, seconded.